Hi, Andrew Roberts from the Podiatry Hive, and this education video, Cracking the 80-20 Principle, is an absolute silver bullet. It's a game changer for podiatrists and particularly podiatry business owners. Understanding what I'm about to teach has the ability to absolutely transform your business. When you understand the principles I'm about to go into, it will help you work so much more effectively into the oncoming years of growing your business. This is the difference between a podiatrist that's working extraordinarily hard, not really seeing a return, to one that's still adding enormous value, not working nearly as hard, seeing an outstanding return for their clients and also for themselves. So bear with me as I take you through this. Grab yourself a pen and paper, but I know you'll get a lot of information and useful tools in understanding the Pareto principle. Many of you would have heard of it, that 80% of your business can come from your top 20% of clients. 80% of your revenue comes from 20% of your customers. This is so true in so many areas. If we were to look at roads, the roads in your area, it's important to understand this. 20% of the roads carry 80% of the traffic. Now, we even go a step further. This is really important. If you take that 20% of roads that carry 80% of the traffic, there's another 80-20 principle going on here. And that is 20% of the top 20% of roads carries a further 80% of the traffic. Now, when you understand this, 4% of the roads will carry 64% of the traffic, and so on. And you know, for me, it really hit me hard many years ago that, wow, we spend, literally 80% of our time on tasks that we shouldn't be. It's only 20% of our tasks will produce 80% of our efforts. And what we need to, we get so caught up being so busy, but it's only just the smallest things that have the biggest differences. That if we actually crack and work out that only a very small percentage of your clientele will produce most of your profit, then you start to work completely differently. Just understanding this at a high level. Airlines understand this, and we've spoken about this before, but airlines really know that their top 20%, the people that are buying their first class and business class, seriously do produce the bulk of their revenue. I mean, may not be aware of this, you may not be aware of this, but a lot of airlines just cover their expenses with economy class. Okay, it's really important. Same as time, I mentioned that 20% of your tasks will produce 80% of your income. It's the same as food. There's only 20% of what you're eating produces 80% of your fat. It's interesting. And so when you start grasping this, you start seeing the world, looking at the world from a completely different angle. And there's a guy, if you haven't read this book, 4-Hour Workweek, it's by an author, Timothy Ferriss. And I had a huge shift when I read this book. And for me, it really helped me work way smarter rather than harder. And Tim Ferriss points out that in life, if you can just master 20% of the activities, if you can just master letting go of doing most things and putting all your energy into what's important, you will have the most incredibly successful life. And so Tim Ferriss talks about using this when it comes to learning a new language, when it comes to learning to drive a new machine. So he would work out that if it came to learning and mastering a new language, you just had to find the 20%, the 20 most used phrases, and focus on those, and you'll generally get 80% of the language correct. And it's the same as true in business. When you actually really know it's the 20%, you'll just see this enormous shift, and you'll stop making decisions based on working on that bottom 80%. You'll really raise the bar and really start working smarter as opposed to harder. And I mean, lions get this. I've mentioned this before. You have an option to eat like a horse or eat like a lion. And if you study horses will eat basically 20 hours a day, whereas a lion will eat one day every 4 and spend the rest of its time eating. It'll have a big meal and then relax. And so this principle is all about understanding that there's a certain portion of your target audience that if you actually grasp it and invest energy and time and then sell them things that they want and need, you can start eating like a lion. And the best example that I can provide in this is I've been in the coaching business for many years, and when I first started out, I was charging a quite a low rate for my services. And as a result, I needed to put on a lot of clients to create that income. And that's when I decided, you know what, I'm going to charge considerable higher money and work with less clients. And as a result, because I'm charging a lot more money, I'm attracting better quality people, I'm working way less and I'm making more income, and I've got so much more time left available to do the things that I want to do, to relax and spend time with family, on health. But I'm still making an enormous difference, and because I'm attracting better quality people that are comfortable spending that higher amount, you can actually ultimately make a bigger difference because those people are leaders themselves. So for me, it really ticked all my boxes of ensuring that I'm fulfilling mission, but at the same time having a very comfortable work-life balance. So this is all about being the lion, not the horse. So we're going to take you through 5 principles from getting clear on your who, working out how to focus more time in this space, working out what to offer them, working on a stop doing stuff, a stop doing list, and finally just focusing on your top 20%. So number 1, getting clear on the who. This is really, really important, and something that I feel so many podiatrists, you're not spending nearly enough time on. And this is a topic that could bring up a lot of debate. There's no doubt about it. And so I'll give you an example. When I first started out in coaching, I felt the need to be someone of responsibility that had a mission to help anyone and everyone. So this was my feeling, that I could help anyone and everyone. And so initially I would spend a lot of time working with business owners that couldn't afford my services. And so I'd give a lot away for free, if you like, and not ever get return from it. And that's when I really wanted to work with startup businesses, because I thought, they needed the most help. But the issue with this was the startup businesses could never afford the higher fees. But Andrew being Andrew, being in that too nice bracket, it's called a people pleaser. I still thought, or I had to still be able to at least offer these people this service. Otherwise, ultimately, they're going to suffer. And the only person that ended up suffering was me. And I look at a lot of podiatrists, and many of you have this expectation or this feeling that because someone's got a problem, you have to be able to fix it. And so if someone generates a foot problem, whether they're a pensioner or someone that's on disability services or unemployed income or something, you feel you have this duty that you have to service this person. And this is where so many podiatrists, we get this over and over and over and over and over again, podiatrists saying, yeah, but my audience wouldn't be able to afford high-level products and programs. And you're probably right. And this is because you haven't actually spent time on, well, who do I want to work with? Who is my perfect customer? Who can I add the most value to? Who is in a position to afford the fees that I charge and the high-level programs that I want to offer? This is really important. A great case study here was a client that I coached in my first few years of being a business coach. And her name was Lisa, and she ran a party and balloon shop. And she was flat out. She'd been working for 14 years, and she was flat chat servicing mum and dad clients. And a typical customer would come into her little shop. It was in Randwick, New South Wales. You can look it up. It's still around, the Balloon Saloon, Randwick in Sydney. And people would come into this shop, and they'd spend about $13, maybe $15, maybe up to $20, $30 just on balloon and party products, a few balloons, a few streamers, etc. And she was busy servicing these people. And one day I was reviewing her P&L, and I came across a line item, and in that line item there was a $2,000 sale, and I said to Lisa, what is that? And she said, oh yeah. She said, it's so awesome. She said, but occasionally we get this order from like a function center, and they ring us up and they order all these balloon and party stuff. And, this particular one came to a sale price of $2,000. And I'm like, wow. And I said to her, Lisa, do you market towards these people? And she said, no. What do you mean? I said, let's go through all your marketing. And we looked at her Yellow Pages ad, and we looked at her internet marketing, and everything is targeting, guess who? Mums and dads. And that straight away was her problem. You see, Lisa was so busy, she didn't actually understand that if she turned her attention to focusing on these function centers, her business will go through the roof. This is why I actually teach podiatrists. You're far better off targeting and selling through instead of to, putting all your marketing energy, marketing towards referral partners like school athletics teams and athletes shops and sporting places. I just think that ultimately that's a great target audience for you. But anyway, back to Lisa's story. So Lisa decided to give it a go, and we actually pulled a lot of the marketing she was doing because she was too busy, right? She's so busy seeing mums and dads, so she's got no time to work on the bigger stuff. And I said to her, you've got to make this decision, Lisa. You've got to stop doing this. Otherwise, you're going to send yourself broke. You're working so hard. The poor lady was working incredibly hard. She was making about $14,000 a month, and her profit was about literally $2,000 a month. Some months she was losing money. 14 years in business, she was worn out. So we turned the energy and attention, and we started targeting these function centers, and we came up with a campaign. We came up with a strategy. I won't go into that. But it was the most incredibly effective campaign that she'd ever seen, and she was just so shocked because all of a sudden, instead of getting one $2,000 sale once every month or once every 2 months, it went to 4, then it went to 8, then it went to 15, then it went to 20, and next minute she's the head supplier to every function center around Sydney. And then the next level was, now let's start targeting HR companies, corporate people, HR executives, and all of a sudden this Lisa Kleiner went from $14,000 a month to over $100,000 a month. And all of a sudden, within 12 months, she had enough money to pay for a dream home, and she was able to afford a holiday to Disneyland. Took all her kids over. I'll never forget that story. All because she made a decision to target a better who. This is really important. And if I was to look at all your marketing and I was to ask, who do you want to work with? Who are you targeting? Who are you focused on attractive? You see, many podiatrists are so reactive. They put out these advertisements saying, we can help anyone with a foot problem. If you need a toenail cut, if you need this, if you need that, come on in. And then they get frustrated because these people are only prepared to pay $65 for a toenail cut. And the reason is, it's like you decide, it's because you're offering it and you're so busy that you've got no time to go and focus on attracting the bigger stuff, the better stuff, the market that are comfortable spending the $300 for an initial consultation and $2,000 for a set of orthotics for their family, etc. This is really important. The who is critical. And my advice right now is to actually sit down with your team or go away after this video and write out who is your best ideal customer, your avatar, if you like. Who define them? Are they male? Are they female? What age are they? What income bracket are they? And again, if you listen to this and it's like, yeah, but my town's different, please understand that every other podiatrist is using that one too. It's not true. Every single place has this audience in them. It's time to stop using that as an excuse. You don't have to, but you're mad if you are using that as an excuse because it really stops you. So that's the first thing. Once you get clear on the who, you need to then work out how to focus more time here. And people say, yeah, but I don't have enough time. It's like, you've got to create it. You've got to create it. Some of you will have to make the decision, I'll talk about this one a bit later, to stop doing certain things. And if you're busy seeing people that can't afford to pay more money, then you've just got to you've got to bite the bullet. You've just got to get out of that. It may seem like a bit of short-term pain, but I can promise you, it's ultimately going to lead you to frustration and burnout. So we need to actually start scheduling. You remember, your success follows your calendar. So time needs to then be scheduled on working more on focusing on targeting these high-value customers. And ultimately, you need to understand, well, marketing, what can I do to get their attention? The AIDA principle, AIDA. Attention, interest, desire, action. I've got to get their attention. What's going to appeal to them? What can I offer out in the marketplace? This is going back to education-based marketing. That's going to remove their problems, get their attention, and or help them achieve their goals. I'll give you an example. I mean, I love running and sport, and if a podiatrist came out and offered maybe a workshop or a consultation or something that's going to help me improve my running, which I know every single podiatrist, you've all got the skills to do this. If you're able to offer something that's going to talk to me and get me into your studio and help me with something that I'm passionate about, then bang, you got the opportunity to, number one, attract a type of client. I'm the type of person that respects and appreciates investing over spending. You see, a lot of people might look at spending money on orthotics as an expense. I would look at it as an investment because it will help me. This is where those of you that are on the Podiatry Hive program respect that it's an investment of your money. It's not an expense. And obviously, because you back that the information you're learning right now is going to give you a return. It's the same thing. It's attracting, the people we attract on a Podiatry Hive are successful people, not struggling people. This is really important because you get this, and it's the same as you. You want to attract the right people. Now, here's something else. We know in the podiatry industry in Australia, it's going to top out at about 150, maybe 200 podiatry business owners that will ever become members of us. Guess what that is? About 20%, mind you. We know that there's only 20% of you that want to take up the time and energy and effort to work on growth. And that's why we're putting things out to attract you to jump on board the hive. And we know that 80% of the industry just aren't motivated by this. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean anything at all. And it just means that you are within the top 20%. And we also know that there's a smaller percentage of you that will also go that next level. Hence why we've got the Black Belt program. By the way, if any of you want more information on Black Belt, send us an email at assist@podiatryhive.com. Because that it is a program that's ready for that elite top 4%. And it is absolutely true that top 4% bring us 56% of our revenue. I can show you the statistics on it. And of course, there's a way better service and value and offering that we provide these people. But we constantly are talking to these elite people, and there's at the moment close to 20 people on our Black Belt program. We're constantly speaking with them and asking them, what else do you need? What else do you want? And then guess what? We will also launch more stuff. So we're looking at launching a sales team that's going to help them sell. And, we can charge some income to train up that sales team and help them get a return on investment from that. We're also looking at doing website stuff. So I'm using this as an example because there's an opportunity for you to look at what can you start offering, not just your how to get their attention, but secondly, once you've got them, what else would they be prepared to buy from you? What else can you do to remove their problems? Really, really important questions. And ultimately, and I mentioned this before, you have to, when you respect the 80-20 principle, you have to let go. It's impossible. It's impossible to go to the next level without letting go. I need to be really upfront with that. There's got to be a place of give and take where you actually bite the bullet and decide, for example, our business now no longer deals with X solution. For example, I'm just going to use this as a blunt example. We're no longer going to do toenail cutting. I refuse to do it. Number one, me, the owner, personally, I'm going to refuse to do it. In fact, our whole business is going to refuse to do it because we're going to go out there and we're going to attract high value work. Now, if you were to break it down as simple as possible, if you break up a business, there's $10 an hour work, there's $100 an hour work, and then there's $1,000 an hour work. So $10 an hour work is administration, $20 an hour work if you like, but let's go with 10. We've got administration, we've got emails, we've got doing the BAS work, we've got paying bills, we've got fixing IT stuff, we've got sending follow-up emails, putting newsletters together. There's all this $10 an hour work. Okay, then $100 an hour work, bottom line, is more than likely doing consultations, okay? Particularly follow-up consultations. $100 an hour work, as you like, is the crux of what podiatrists, where you make your income. But then we've got this little $1,000 an hour work. This is a lot of the stuff that we're educating on. The $1,000 an hour work is having the meeting with the GP. So it's sacrificing $100 and being prepared to say, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice $2,000 tomorrow. That's how much I could bill. And I'm going to do eight $1,000 hour jobs. And I'm going to get out there tomorrow and I'm going to see 4 GPs and I'm going to write an offer to my top 20% clients and offer them a opportunity to come on in and learn about exercising better. And out of that, I'm going to make some orthotic sales. That's an example, okay? So golden rule is, number one, we absolutely can never, ever, ever, ever get caught up in $10 an hour work. We have to get rid of it. Go back and watch my outsourcing training if you need to. But we need to get rid of low value work first. Then we need to bite the bullet. At some stage, the owner has to let go of $100 an hour work. They have to. If you were to work on $100 an hour, the max you can make in a year is about $200 odd thousand dollars. And that's just in sales. That's not with expenses. So when a podiatry business owner wants to go to say $1 million company, they have to be spending time on $1,000 an hour work at least 1 day a week, preferably 2, ideally more than 3 or more. And this is important because really 80% of your activities, 80% of your results comes from 20% of your work. 80%. It's like when you understand that you can build one relationship that can double your practice. Okay, really important. One relationship can double your practice. When you understand that your top 20%, if you were to create a first class ticket, a premium service, if you were to be able to crack a $10,000 program, I can promise you it's available for you. It's there if you look for it. I'll tell you why I know it's there. I've done a lot of work personally with personal trainers. I've coached so many of them, and I was helping personal trainers sell $10,000 packages to work on people's health and fitness. And when they become effective in the process, they're able to sell 7 or 8 of those every single day. And this is what rapidly enables these personal training companies to get to $1 million companies, profiting $400,000 or $500,000 a year, because they've cracked how to do this. And they know that there's a marketplace out there that are comfortable paying it. I mean, I was one of their clients for 5 years when I was in Sydney. I'm very comfortable investing money into my health because once again, my brain can work the return on investment out of energy in versus output out. Energy created from personal training and money invested. The output that I get from it far extinguishes the investment that I'm making. And this is really important because this is what, when you start working like this, you start really understanding that I don't have to be a people pleaser. I don't have to see anyone and everyone. I get to decide. I'm in charge. I'm in the driver's seat. I can be proactive. I can get out there and find these people, and I can create products and services that they will be comfortable paying and buying. And it happens in every town, in every location. I don't care where you live. I could prove this in your location. Even if the bulk of your industry or audience in your community are retirees, it doesn't matter. There's still the 80-20 principle applies everywhere, all the time, no exceptions. And so the reason I'm stating this with a bit of directness is it's just I want you to get out of the excuse, yeah, but my business is different. Yeah, but my area is different. It's not true. It really isn't true. So to summarize, the 80-20 principle, number one, get clear on the who. Work out how to focus more time there. Work out what to offer them. Start looking at higher value products and services. We're spending a lot of time in this. For those of you, just be patient. We're really releasing this stuff through the Hive, and you're going to get so much information on it. Stop doing stuff. Let go of the $10 an hour work first, then creep your way out of the $100 an hour work. We want to see you at $1,000 an hour work. Focus on the top 20% of tasks that bring you 80% of your results. Everything else is wasting your energy, your precious time. Remember, time is your most valuable resource. Okay? Way more valuable than money. Once you spend money, you can always make more money. Once you spend your time, it's gone forever. So you have to decide where you want to play at, and know that once you master the skills, back yourself, let go, you will see extraordinary success. As I said to you, this topic is a silver bullet, in my opinion, and can be transformational to your podiatry practice. Any questions at all, email us, assist@podiatryhive.com. That's assist@podiatryhive.com. See you soon.